So 2018 Lyriks. This bike came with them, so I got the Remedy 8, obviously. Now, my setup with the standard Lyrik was 3 tokens in the front, 75 psi. I weigh 73 kilos on the bike, built up, ready to go, with 3 clicks of low speed compression, and I was always dabbling between 3 clicks and 4 clicks. So 3 clicks is smoother on the rougher tracks, it just gives me that buttery feeling. 4 clicks gives me a little bit more support, which the support is what I was chasing with the 3 volume spaces. 2 wasn't quite enough, it was still a little bit vague, little bit lack of grip in corners. The 3 gave me everything I needed to push against, and 4 clicks added to that a little bit. 4 clicks of compression added to that a little bit, but it made the bike a little bit rough. It made the fork a little bit rough. So 3 clicks is great for rough tracks, 4 clicks is great for smoother tracks and more efficiency. Rebound fast, obviously not overly fast, but you find that spot where you go faster, and the bike gets smoother, and then you go too fast and the bike gets too rowdy and too active. So that was my standard setup with the Lyriks. I've recently had some work done. I got the Vorsprung Luftkappe put in, and I had the high performance service done by NS Dynamics up in, I think they're in Brisbane in Queensland. So it's come back. The Luftkappe, Vorsprung recommend you run 2 less spaces than you would in your standard setup for the Lyrik. So I initially put the forks back in the bike, rode them with 3 spaces in there, and they felt super stiff and progressive and just too much ramp up, way too stiff. So that was with the same air pressure. So I dropped all of the tokens out, rode it, felt really good with the mid support, but still a little bit vague. I was blowing through the travel a little bit too fast, so I've gone 1 token, and it's gotten rid of that blowing through the travel, and it's brought it just to exactly where I want it. So I'm running a little bit more air. I'm running 83 psi, 1 spacer. The fork feels heaps more supportive for the amount of how can I describe it? I can use all of the travel more evenly. So when you're running a lot of spaces, it tends to be soft at the top and then really firm at the bottom. With this setup, it's soft at the top, supportive in the middle, and just adequately firm in the bottom. So much better. And one big thing I noticed with the Luftkappe is the grip increase. So when I was testing the Giant Rain Advanced with the Fox 36 fork on it, the big thing I noticed about that 36 fork was the grip in comparison to the Lyrik. So the 36 just has that little bit of an edge over the Lyrik with all-out grip on the dirt, especially in the loose stuff. It just feels like there's so much more confidence. So with this Luftkappe, it's given me what I had in the 36, so I'm really, really happy with that. I've been able to tune the spring or the spring rate to suit what kind of support I want, and obviously the hits, the big hits. On the compression side of things, I now run 0 clicks, or it's not quite 0 clicks, so 0 clicks would be right up against the full open on the adjustment, and I'm just half a click off open, so it just from open it just drops into its first notch. That's where I leave the compression now. 1 click is a little bit too firm. That 0 clicks is perfect. The 0 clicks is perfect. What I was previously looking for in support with the low speed compression and calming the bike down with the low speed compression, I've now got from this Luftkappe setup. So the air spring's doing a much better job of supporting me and still absorbing the bumps the way I like it to be absorbed. So I'm running 83 psi versus the 75 psi that I used to run. 1 token versus the 3 before. Rebound's the same, pretty fast still. And the bike feels absolutely excellent. It's much quieter on the front, like I said, more grip, more to push against, and it's much better through the rough stuff. It goes exactly where you want it to do. It doesn't dart around. The old Lyrik had a bit of a tendency to get a little bit loose on the loose stuff. If I set it up right to be supportive and efficient, it was a little bit loose and not a lot of grip. There was good grip, but not a lot of grip in comparison to what's here now. So super happy with the support, super happy with the way it performs on the trail. Like I said, it's up there with the Fox 36 now, it's perfect. The set and forget's easy, super easy to set up. The only thing I would like is access to some sort of a delivery system for nitrogen. I'd like to run this fork on nitrogen instead of air. So the difference between running your forks and your rear shock on nitrogen versus air, when things heat up, the air expands more. I'm not too sure, I'm not an engineer or anything like that, or a physicist, but the difference between with my old forks, when I got them back and they were charged with nitrogen instead of air, on the hotter days, it didn't vary as much. The suspension, the spring rate didn't vary as much. Whereas when they're full of air, it varies hugely. So if I start it at 83 PSI and check it after a few runs on a hot day, it'll be at 90 PSI. And that's after letting the bike cool down a little bit. So I'd like to try the nitrogen, but other than that, I can't say enough about it. I'm super happy with the Vorsprung. Talking about the NS Dynamic service, the high performance service, so they did the low friction seals, which just makes the fork feel like butter. Obviously it's partially to the Luftkappe as well, but the forks were really soft off the top. No restriction, no friction. The only thing I was upset about or disappointed about, is when I got them back, there's a big old chunk out of the crown of my fork here. So I tried to ring them, but I couldn't get an answer, and then I just didn't bother calling them back. So a little bit disappointed with that. If you guys are watching from NS, yeah, whoever did that is, it's a little bit of a lack of care there, so maybe want to address that. Otherwise, super happy with the performance, super happy with the price, everything. It was $100 for the Luftkappe, and then the service was 150, so I got my money's worth, definitely. Sorry, the service was 250, so it's 350 altogether. And definitely a good improvement. If you're not a fast rider, you might not like it, because when you're riding a bit slower, you kind of want the fork to be a bit more cushiony, so you wouldn't run as many tokens as I'm running. So the Luftkappe is probably straight out of the box, a little bit more progressive for you. Who knows, it might be good, it might not, but it's something to keep in mind. But if you want to charge harder, if you want to go harder and you want your fork to feel exactly how it should feel, or exactly what you're looking for, this is perfect. You can tune it to exactly what you want, and I can't say enough about it, it's great.